So this lesson is called Solving Inequalities. So 1, if we have x minus 1 is less than or equal to 3. So what we do here, we go x is less than or equal 3. I move the negative ones to the other side of the inequality sign, it becomes plus 1. And therefore, x is less than or equal to 4. That's the answer. If you want to graph this on the number line, or you put your number line right there, that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is right here. And since there's an equal sign, you put a circle and you shade it. And less than, you go this way, because this way is less than 4. So this means x is less than or equal to 4. Now, I'm going to give you 2 to do yourselves. So try to do these 2 questions, guys, and send me your answers. Okay, guys. I said you treat this as if it was an equal sign. So very simple. It's x greater than. You don't flip this sign. Some of you like changing this sign to this. Like, why did you change it to this? This and this are completely different. This reads x greater than, and this reads x less than. So definitely you don't want to switch this to the other side or flip it. And you have the 12. I said when you move numbers to the other side of the equal sign, this is plus 3, you change it to minus 3. So you do the opposite. It's a plus 3 here, it becomes minus 3 there. X is greater than 9. On the number line, if this is 0, and here let's say that's 9, you put an open circle at 9, and since it's greater than 9 means this way, because the numbers on this side are greater than 9, so you shade this way. Here, this is treat it as if it was an equal sign. So if we have 2x equals 10, usually what we do, we divide both sides by 2. And therefore these cancel, and I get x is greater than or equal to 5. So nothing different from what we've done before in the last lesson, last week, and the start of today's lesson is the same thing, except instead of an equal sign, we write an inequality sign, but we still do the same steps. And x is greater than or equal to 5. That's 0. And the 5, let's say, is right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You put an open circle and you shade it, because if the equal, when it's equal with the inequality sign, you shade it. Greater than means this way, and then you just go that way. Now, I'm going to give you an example. If we have negative 3x is greater than or equal to negative 12, now what we do here, we have to solve for x, and to be able to solve for x, we divide both sides by negative 3. And now pay attention. When we divide anything by a negative number, oh, sorry, let me revise, okay? When we divide by a negative number and we're dealing with the inequalities, if you're dividing both sides by a negative number, this inequality sign flips. So instead of greater than, it becomes less than or equal to 4. So this is the only time that the inequality sign flips. The other way around is if you're dividing by a negative number, like what we did here. So this becomes x is less than or equal instead of greater than or equal to 4. And on the number line, if that's 0, 4 is somewhere around here. Now we shade the 4 right there, and it's less than or equal, so it's going this way. Any questions? Yeah, so these are the questions, 4 of them. Take your time. You have 10 minutes, answer all these questions and post your answer on the chat. I'm going to keep the negative 13. I move the negative x, the negative 11 to the other side of the equal sign. It becomes a plus 11 is greater than or equal to x. Negative 13 plus 11 is negative 2 is greater than or equal to x. And therefore, you could rewrite this as x is less than or equal to negative 2. As long as, if you could read it from here, x is less than or equal to negative 2, write it in this form is better. Now, if you want to do your number line, that's the 0 here. Negative 2 should be somewhere around here. That's so because there's an equal sign, you put a circle and shade, and less than is this way, and you shade. Number 2, again, algebra. Just think of this as if this was an equal sign. I said the inequality sign is the same as an equal sign when you're doing algebra. So what do we do to solve for x or isolate the x? All I need to do is just divide both sides by negative 2. But I said something earlier that when you divide by negative 2 or by a negative number, so we're going to get negative 4.5 here. But when you divide by a negative number, the inequality sign flips. So instead of facing this way, now it's going to face the other way, and you have x here. Because negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. And therefore, x is greater than, if you read it backwards, x is greater than negative 4.5. If you read it from here, which I don't like, here it reads as negative 4.5 is less than x. So you could just maybe rewrite this as x greater than negative 4.5. Because the way you read it from right to left reads x is greater than negative 4.5. So just write it in English from left to right as x is greater than or greater than negative 4.5. Now, if that's the 0, and somewhere in here is negative 4.5, you have an open circle now because there's no equal sign. A greater than means you go this way. And that's the answer. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Now, Adam, in this situation here, if I want to make the x positive, I move the negative x to this side, it becomes positive x, and I move the 9 to this side, it becomes minus 9. So I have x is less than or equal to 15 minus 9. I moved the negative x to the other side, so I want it to be positive, so that's why I did that, and then I moved the 9 to the side, it becomes minus 9, and therefore x is less than or equal to 6. Let's say you didn't do that, okay, and you kept the x right here and you moved the 15 to the side. So if you did that, then it'll be 9. If you move the 15 to the other side, it becomes minus 15 is less than or equal, and you still have the negative besides the x here because the negative is part of the x. So here we have negative 6 is less than or equal to negative x. Negative x is the same as having negative 1 in front of there. So we divide both sides by negative 1 by negative 1. And then negative 6 divided by negative 1 is 6. When you're dividing by negative, this inequality sign flips this way. And you have the x right here. So if you read it backwards, it's x is less than or equal to 6, which exactly what that is. So both ways that you should get to the same answer. It doesn't matter if you chose to do it this way or that way. Now, anybody has a question about this? Okay. Now I'm just gonna put this on the number line. 0 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is around here and it's open but it's shaded. Less than, you go this way. So that's what you're shading. Okay. How about here? Here simultaneously, I'm going to move this negative 2y to this side, this negative 14 to that side. Or I could move this 4y to this side and move this 13 to the other side. Doesn't matter. Both of them will give you the same answer. So how about I'll keep the 13 here, move this negative 14 to the other side of the equal sign. Since it's minus 14, when it moves to the other side, it becomes plus 14. and you have less than or equal, I'm keeping the 4y on this side, but at the same time, I'm moving the negative 2y to the other side of the inequality sign. So it's negative 2y minus 2y here. If it moves, it's going to become plus 2y. 13 plus 14 is 27, is less than or equal to 6y. Now divide both sides by 6 by 6. 27 divided by 6, you have to reduce that. Okay, so 6 divided by 6 goes, 3 goes into 27 9 times, and 3 goes into 6 twice, less than or equal to y. And then I'm just gonna, if you read it backwards, y is greater than or equal to 4.5. 9 over 2 is 4.5. So I'm just gonna write it as y greater than or equal to 4.5. And then if you putting this on your number line, there's the 0. The 4.5 is somewhere around here. So you just open and then shade, and then greater than is going this way, and that's your 4.5. So you have to show that it's a 4.5. Like if you don't, even if you don't write the scale, make sure you show that it's 4.5. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you just, your point is going to be between the 4 and the 5, but that's good enough if you do it that way. Any questions? So this question here is no different from any of the other questions that we did. You've done algebra. It's just algebra. Instead of an equal sign, we have inequality sign, but you do the same thing. So here, the first thing you need to do is just distribute that into here. So you get negative 28 minus 8x is greater than or equal 3x plus 5. Negative 8x minus 3x is greater than or equal to 5 plus 28. For anybody who doesn't know how to do this step, I am here. I want to bring the x's together to one side, and I want to bring anything that doesn't have an x to the other side. So I'm keeping the negative 8x on the left-hand side of the inequality sign, and I'm moving the 3x to the other side. When you move something to the other side, you change the sign. Then greater than or equal, you keep the 5 here, but you move the negative 28 to this side. Now you see everything that has x's came to one side, and anything that didn't have x's came to the other side of the equal sign. Now negative 8x minus 3x is negative 11x is greater than or equal to 33. Divide both sides by negative 11. By negative 11. When you divide by a negative number, this inequality sign flips the other way. So it becomes less than or equal. And now we have x is less than or equal to negative 3 on the number line. There's the 0. 1, 2, 3, negative 3, and it keeps on going. It's an open, and then you shade that circle. Less than is this way, so you're supposed to shade this way. All right. This is it for today. I'll see you guys next week.